Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Donor-Centric Approach. This podcast is brought to you by MRP Donor Development, where we keep our donors at the center of everything that we do, and by our friends and sponsors at Stellar Web Systems, the nonprofit tech solution. As always, I am your host, Orlando Barros, and today's episode is a little bit different than one we normally do. Today's episode is for the founders, for the executive directors, for those of you who are the ministry leaders out there who have created and are carrying this big vision, this huge responsibility on your shoulders. You are leading this mission that has a great calling. You are answering emails, leading your teams, applying for grants, meeting with donors. You're literally doing everything you can to keep the lights on and keep the mission moving forward and growing and trying to hit your goals. And somewhere in the middle of all of this, you are also expected to be the main fundraiser for your mission. So today, I want to speak directly to you. I'm not trying to give you more to-dos, but my hope for today's episode is to share with you some clarity. With permission, of course, but also with great focus. We'll be talking about how to lead your fundraising and development efforts without burning out. And how to make progress without trying to do everything yourself. If that is you, this episode is exactly tailored to what you're going through today. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's start by describing the reality of founder-led fundraising and development. From my perspective, here's what I've seen over and over again, time and time again. Founders, especially in the early years, feel like they cannot stop fundraising. But they also don't have time to do it well. Founders feel pressure at the same time to wear every single hat, to do it all. And they also feel guilty when they drop any of the things, any of the balls they're trying to juggle. Oftentimes, founders don't always have the roadmap, or any roadmap for that matter, for how to delegate fundraising and development responsibilities. What is the result of all of this? Is that you constantly see low-level burnout, which causes reactive fundraising as opposed to proactive fundraising, which leads to inconsistent, if any, donor engagement. I know that you're familiar with what I'm saying. But today I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to be that way. There's so much more you can do and so much better ways to spend your time. To paint a clearer picture, let's talk about the 3 key roles that you must play as a founder, while also sharing with you the 3 things that you can let go of starting today. Let's just get something out of the way from the get-go and clarify this thing right up front. As the founder or the executive director of your organization, and I'm going to say this as clearly as possible, you will always be involved in fundraising. It is a key responsibility. You must own it. But you don't have to do all of it. Just because you're always going to be involved in the fundraising and development efforts of your ministry or your nonprofit doesn't mean that you have to do every single aspect of it. So let's talk about really the 3 key roles that you must own as the founder or the executive director of your organization. First things first, you are the vision caster for your mission. At the end of the day, you are the keeper of the mission. And as such, you are the one that holds the keys to the long-term vision of the organization. You are in control. You are driving this car. Therefore, your voice matters, particularly when it comes down to inspiring donors and reminding them why it is that the work that you do is important. Your presence and your part in building the relationships with the right donors is key to the sustainability of the organization. You are the one in control. You're the one guiding the ship. Therefore, you need to be talking to those major donors. They need to hear from you. They need to be motivated to gift by you. The second role is that you are the most important relationship builder in your organization. You need to make a plan to always stay connected to your top donors, to your top partners. Those are the people who are most invested in your success outside of the organization, of course. And those are the ones who want to walk closely with you as the mission grows. Their desire is to stay connected to you. Therefore, as the founder, as the executive director, it is your role and a priority of yours to walk alongside of them and bring them along as the mission grows. Because they're the ones fueling the mission with their philanthropic giving. The third role is that as the founder and the executive director, you are the strategic leader. You are the one setting the tone for the systems in place in the organization, particularly and most especially when it comes down to fundraising. Now, I'm not saying that you need to be involved in every detail, but I am saying that you do need to set the tone, set the direction, and be the one approving the ultimate strategy. I'm saying that because the fundraising and development efforts for your organization, without your leadership as the person guiding it, are going to feel aimless. Like they don't know where they're supposed to go. What is it that they're trying to build? If you're not the one guiding the strategy, then how is this going to take place? First of all, you don't need to be the one writing the grants or applying for grants. You need to outsource that if possible. Hire a writer or use a consultant for this very tactical and also very time-consuming work. You don't need to be the one doing it. Get someone else to handle your grant writing applications. You could set the strategy. You can tell them what grants to apply for, but you don't need to be the one doing that. Second role you can let go of is being the routine steward. What I mean by that is that you don't need to handle the actual overall stewardship of your donors. What you can do to structure this differently, if you feel like this is not making sense, is that you can create systems that empower others within the organization to handle things like thank you notes, to handle things like updates, to handle things like follow-ups. It's even better for the donors because the more people they see involved in the mission, the more they're going to feel connected, the more they're going to see this mission is important, this mission matters. There's a whole team of people behind what we're trying to accomplish here. And lastly, feel free to let go of campaign logistics. You as the founder, you as the executive director, don't need to be coordinating every single mailing or every event. You don't need to be writing every single appeal. You don't need to be the one inviting donors to the next dinner. What you should be doing is providing that support should your team need it. As a matter of fact, you should make that support available. And you should be the one behind the management and the execution of it. But you don't need to be the one involved in every single aspect, in the weeds of it all, if you will. So, how do you then take those three roles that you want to grow in, take those three roles that you want to let go of? How do you use that information now to focus your fundraising energy on the right approach? The question then becomes, how do you stay focused as the founder or the executive director? After working with so many clients and in so many nonprofits and ministries, here's what I would recommend if I were in your shoes. First things first, make it simple. Pick 5 to 7 key donors or key prospects to stay close to and to develop a deep relationship with. That's your personal lane right there. That's, by the way, all that you have time for. You don't have time to manage a book of business, a book of donors that's 50, 60, 100, 200 people. If you can focus on your top 5 to 7, you can really do some damage and bring in a lot of funds to your organization. Especially because those are the ones that you actually need to bring a relationship to, the ones that you need to develop the right approach with. Top 5, top 7, maybe top 10 at the most. That's your lane. I would create a monthly or a 90-minute CEO fundraising block. At least every month. It could be at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end. Block out 90 minutes on your calendar to review the results of your own efforts, to write out emails or notes or thank yous to those within that small book of business, those top donors, to prep for meetings and one-on-ones that you're going to be having over the next month or so, and to also plan ahead for what the rest of the year or the next approach is going to look like. If you can stay consistent to this planning fundraising block of 90 minutes every month, you will see results over time. You can also schedule quarterly check-ins with your team or your board to align on goals, to make sure that you're all on the same page, that you are all carrying and delivering the same message throughout the organization, and that you're all clear on the next steps. Messaging is key. So if every quarter you can check in with your staff, you all know what the message is and the right approach is, that's going to bear results. And last but not least, to keep this focus as the founder, as the executive director, you need to be able to say no a lot, especially to fundraising tasks that drain you and can be done just as well, if not better, by other people. You do not need to be the one doing the data entry. You don't need to be the one driving to the bank to deposit checks. You don't need to be the one checking the mailbox. Those are time-consuming, those are draining, and they can easily be done by someone else. That is how you preserve and keep your energy at high levels for the most part, while you're still leading the mission with clarity. The more you do, the messier it gets. And the messier it gets, the less clear it gets in your head. You want to focus on the right things, keeping the right energy, all of that based on clarity. Because we said this time and time again, clarity creates unity. Now, if what I'm saying right now is creating in you a little bit of overwhelm, and maybe you're feeling like you're behind, or that you've let fundraising fall through the cracks, you are not failing. You are leading. That's your job. And leadership is messy. Leadership is imperfect, and it's deeply personal. So I want to encourage you in that. Continue to have that zeal to lead. But you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to figure out everything from scratch or build it all out from scratch yourself. Most importantly, you don't have to prove anything to anyone. This is the mission that you're leading. Make the decisions that need to be made and keep moving forward. I know that you've got this. I know that you can do it, and you know that you can do it. So go ahead and start making those simple changes. Start small and narrow the focus of your role. You do that by building some support with your staff, with your donors, with your board. And keep telling the story over and over again as to why your mission matters. Because at the end of the day, that's what's most important. Hope that makes sense to you. So now let's talk about what you can do right now, starting this week, to accomplish everything that we've discussed, to narrow your focus and allow you to be even more successful in your mission. I'm going to leave you with 4 action steps for this week. First things first, write down or type down and print out 3 fundraising roles that you're committed to owning. Make them visible, look at them every day, and own them. Do not stray away from those 3 roles. Those are your roles. Those are your commitments. You're going to keep them. Once you've done that, list or write down or type the 3 tasks you need to delegate starting today. The 3 tasks that you need to pause for now or just let go of entirely. You know what those tasks are. You know the ones that feel draining to you, that just suck the energy out of you. List those out and then share them with your team and assign them to specific team members who can do them just as well, if not better. Then go ahead and identify your top 5 donors. Start with 5. I know that I said top 7, even top 10. But let's just start with 5. Your top 5 donors that you want to keep and continuing to build a relationship with. And go ahead, once you have them, reach out to one of them this week and ask for a meeting. Ask for a conversation. Ask for a catch-up. Perhaps it's time for an ask. Go ahead and reach out to them this very week. And lastly, pull out your calendar, take a look at it, and over the next week, go ahead and block out your first, if you haven't done this already, 90-minute CEO fundraising hour. Plan ahead and keep a pulse on the fundraising and development strategies for your organization. 4 little things. You can do those right now, right after you finish listening to this episode. And I know that even just doing those 4 things are going to allow you to just release a bunch of weight off your shoulder. By the way, I know that I've been talking directly to founders and executive directors, but even if you're just a ministry leader, if you're just a director of development, a lot of this also applies to you. Just because you're not the founder or the executive director doesn't mean that you're not doing a bunch of extra stuff too. use what you can out of this to also narrow your focus so that you can be more effective. Now, if so far this episode has spoken to where you are right now, I want to leave you with this encouragement. This season of chaos, this season of messiness that you may find yourself in right now, doesn't have to stay this way. You, as the founder and as the executive director, you can lead. You have the talent and the resources at your disposal to lead and to lead well. And you can also raise funds well and do both those things well without burning out. I know that you can do it. If this episode really resonated with you, and if you realize that you probably need a little bit more of extra help in building and creating a fundraising rhythm that fits the real demands of leadership in your organization, I would love to support you, and I would be humbled and honored if you just simply reached out. To do that, as always, simply go to our website, mrpdonordev.com. That is mrpdonordev.com. And go to our Calendly link and schedule your next free and complimentary session with us. I'm also going to leave that link on the show notes so that you can find our availability there, so you can schedule a call with me, because I'm here to just be a resource for you. And if there's any ways that we can help you, I will be honored to do that for you. If you've enjoyed this episode and continue to enjoy this show, I want to encourage you to subscribe, leave a review, or simply share it with someone who you believe needs to hear this message. Simply doing that is going to get this podcast out to so many others in your shoes. It is going to cause a great impact for them, their missions, and their organizations. I'm honored that you continue to tune in each and every week. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for listening. See you next time on the Donor-Centric Approach. Remember to keep your donors at the center of everything that you do, and you will see results. Take care. God bless. You're the best.